Let's do a 10-second gap between the dunk on the poster and the story about the American Gestapo. Let's just do 10 seconds.
Never gonna let me co-host again.
Should have never been thought of.
Wait, it should have been stopped at the idea phase. All right.
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, where they thought about it.
Okay.
Was I supposed to be listening to
Oh,
something?
you were?
You guys, I have like a hairdo to keep up. I can't just have, giant headphones on all the time.
I know. I think we need to get you proper headphones.
Do you need me to?
Yeah, play the drop. No. We got it. It's fine. Oh, she wants to hear it now.
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, where they thought about it.
Do you know what that's referencing?
I don't.
Oh my God, that's referencing. Literally, that's referencing.
Let's give another hint.
Okay.
Bad deal. Should have never
Oh,
been
the
thought
Iran
of.
deal?
No.
Nuclear deal?
No.
And they had the worst cover-up ever.
That was his response to Saudi Arabia murdering Jamal
Oh,
Khashoggi.
Jesus.
It was a bad deal, and it should have stopped.
Bad
It
deal.
should have stopped at the idea phase, and it was, and it was
my
the worst
God.
cover up that he ever saw, which is clearly the part
Should
that
have
upset
stopped
him.
at the idea phase?
Yes, should have stopped.
And where it should have stopped
can't
is
believe
at
I've
the
heard
deal
this before.
standpoint, where they thought about it.
I like how when you translate Trump, it still definitionally makes more sense. Like it should have stopped at the idea phase, but what did he actually say? Just one more time.
And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, where they thought about it.
All right. Okay. So that same individual talking about a journalist being dismembered while he was alive, what does he have in store for this nation's immigrant community?
So, as I was saying,
Yes.
in addition to all of the damage that has already been caused to the undocumented community, to the people who are at the border, who are in detention camps, now Trump is promising a mass immigration arrests and the removals of millions of illegal aliens, quote unquote aliens, starting next week. It's one of those things where if you think about it, the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, they don't even have the resources to just start removing millions of undocumented people. There's 11 million in the country, and they're already understaffed and stretched thin. And so it's something that isn't even really physically possible. They also, again, here said that they want to focus on families, which obviously raises a lot of questions as to, people have brought up, like, and what are you going to do if children are in school or at summer camp and you're just going to deport their parents and then the kids are just left behind? Obviously, they don't care about separating families. We've learned that.
You know this.
And as I was saying, it is timed, I think, not, uncoincidentally. Not coincidentally. I'm ESL sometimes. I was born in another country. And timed with the kickoff of his re-election campaign. And we know that he obviously used really awful, xenophobic, anti-immigrant language the first time around in 2016 to rile up certain members of the base. And I think that he's trying to go for it again. So all of this is horrible and disgusting. And then in conjunction, there's been this massive debate on Twitter today, where if you look on Twitter,
You guys have this up now.
concentration and concentration camps are trending on Twitter. And you want to be like, what the fuck? And why is this trending? And so it all started with AOC, and she referenced the detention camps and called them concentration camps, which then started this whole like shitstorm where Liz Cheney.
This is up now, right?
Liz Cheney
Okay,
decided
good.
to chime in and say, please, AOC, do us all a favor and spend just a few minutes learning some actual history. 6 million Jews were exterminated in the Holocaust. You demean their memory and disgrace yourself with comments like this. So she uses exterminated, which of course is very dehumanizing to the 6 million people who were killed in the Holocaust. And then, since then, it's like everybody's
I think we
been
know what
pouring out.
word they use privately in that household.
talking about. But then it's like it's getting into the semantics of what a concentration camp is versus a death camp, and how obviously there's a long history of concentration camps, and they've been, used in South Africa and France and Cuba and the Soviet Union, in the United States when we interned Japanese Americans, and once again with what's happening now. But you have this group of like the Liz Cheney type of people who are now using anti-Semitism, or at least trying to, as this gross like political kind of ping pong in a place where it clearly doesn't even belong.
I have a couple of.
But this is like it's enhanced interrogation. It's not torture.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
like if
exactly
you're really
what it is.
upset over the semantics rather than what's happening to the people who are in detention, then that shows we're
100% what
so
it is.
wrong.
And that's why, that's 100% what it is. And I just like moving backwards. I mean, I just think, first of all, this is why in general we probably do spend so much time mocking pedant culture online, because when you use like the technicalities of things to obscure the realities of things, this is an extreme version of what you're doing here. A funny trivial version was when we made fun of a West Wing clip recently, which was horrible and embarrassing to even watch. And my favorite comment I saw was, they never provided an argument as to why that clip was bad. And it's like, we were making fun of it. We're not arguing about it.
Yeah.
We're making fun of a self-evidently, horrifyingly stupid clip. And when you get into like this second order focus about like, well, actually, technically, you're missing something profoundly important, which is that children are dying in custody right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a war going on people across this country. It's a difference in kind, not degree, but some of these things did in fact start under Obama, though obviously how it's happening under Trump is a different thing. And I think, and it's different in this sense, to spell it out. Obama did horrific things on immigration with the goal, the mistaken notion, as with so many other things, that, if I prove my bona fides, they will meet in the middle and provide a deal, which of course was not what they were going to do. And then he counteracted it with things like the Dreamers, which is in fact really important. This is the strategy of Trump and these people. They want to cleanse this country, both because a lot of them are racist and white supremacists, and others just strategically. I don't think they care one way or another. It's the same way they're suppressing the vote. It's better for the Republican Party to have a white engineered electorate. And the last thing I'll say, which is totally in line with what you're saying, precisely because the economic scam won't work this time. Like, he did some fake economic populism, but he's governed as a totally traditional Republican. That's not going to work. He'll do it sometimes, but the reality is he gave huge tax cuts to rich people. He's deregulating corporations. None of the people's needs are being met with regards to like Midwest industrial workers. All he has left is this sort of thing, and he's going to hit it hard. And I also think the last thing, I want to know what you think of this. I feel like yes, logistically, there's no way it's going to be millions of people, but I also think like it could be thousands of people, and it could be way more human suffering and abuse from this administration. And it's like people go from shock to trance with it. It's almost like they say something truly horrifying, and then it's not quite met, and then people kind of like go,
Oh, it's not as bad. It was just
right.
a couple thousand families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which is one family this being done to. We've already had multiple children die in these conditions. People are being tortured at the border, being held in ice containers, literally.
And this is Jacob Sobroff, who is a friend of mine, and he has done amazing reporting at MSNBC and NBC on this immigration story. He did a thing today where he also pointed out that no matter what, the impact of even putting out a tweet like this is terrorizing
Absolutely.
millions of people
Yes.
across this country
Yes.
who are already living in uncertainty and fear all the time. And then this is just driving it even further, and this is why we've seen people who they don't want to go to hospitals, right? They don't want to send their children to schools. Like, you're afraid then to engage and interact with society in all the ways that you should be able to as a human being because of the message that's being put out there.
That's such a good point. And I also just think, I would add, I've been saying this a lot, and I think look, long-term goals about a borderless world and this type of thing is beautiful and great. That's cool. And there's some version of it that has actually happened in Europe, obviously. But in the short term, you need to get candidates to get super specific on demilitarizing the border and making this not like no one's going to run for president on the notion of getting rid of U.S. borders, but you can get them to be highly specific on how are you going to stop these programs? How are you going to demilitarize the process? You can have a vetting process that isn't done in this horrific military way. And also, how are you going to, basically, I wouldn't use the word amnesty, but amnesty for people who are here.
And then you're going to be against border security?
Against border security. I've been against border security for a long time. You've just watched a Michael Brooks show video, and you can watch all of our full main live shows every Tuesday night at around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and subscribe to get all of the clips you want. We're covering the globe. We're focusing on international relations, the intellectual dark web. We're having fun. We're doing deep dives with a lot of amazing guests. Of course, become a patron for the whole thing at patreon.com/TMBS, or subscribe to this YouTube channel and help us keep growing and get that content out there. Subscribe below.